All right, let's look at finding the zeros of a polynomial function or solving a polynomial equation. We're going to do this one a little different, just a quick one. If I want to solve a polynomial equation or find all of its roots, it's pretty much a 5-step process. So step 1, you got to find your pool of possibilities. So we find all the factors of this 12 and all the factors of this 10. So there they all are, and there are all those. And then we come up with all of our possibilities. So there's all the factors of 12. There's all the factors of 12 divided by 2 that aren't already listed. And then all the factors of 12 divided by 5 that wouldn't have already been listed. Oops, we missed 4/5, but that's okay. It doesn't end up being one of the solutions anyway. And then all the factors of 10. Now 4/10 is 2/5, which is already here. 6/10 is 3/5, which is already here. And 12/10 is 6/5, which is already here. So just don't forget we missed 4/5, but it's all right. Step 2 is to weed out the winners. So we use the calculator. And because my lowest fraction were tenths, so my highest denominator was tenths, I set my table on my calculator to count by tenths. Since my lowest, biggest of all my possible factors was -12, I set my table to start there, and then I just did a whole lot of scrolling. And I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled until I found these two winners when y equals 0. Now, this is a 4th degree, so there's a potential of 4 winners. I was lucky to find 2. So now I divide out the winners. So there's all of those coefficients. Synthetic divide first by -1/2, just because that was the first one I found. And then because why bother resetting the whole problem, I just drew another one and synthetic divided by 3/5, and then wrote out what was left. This was the polynomial I'd be left with, since that was 4s, thirds squared. And then step 4 would be now to solve what's left as a quadratic equation. So I set it equal to 0. They all factored by 10, so I took out a 10. And then I quadratic formulaed this little teeny thing that was left behind, and I got 1 plus or minus root 17 over 2. So now I'm going to sum it all up. The final factored form is the x plus the 1/2, opposite what it was, and the x minus 3/5, and then this thing. Or with the 10 factored out, it looked like that. But this just always seems so messy to me. When that 10 could split into 2 and 5, and if I then multiplied the 2 to the first one that has the half in it, and the 5 to the second one that has the fifth in it, it actually makes those turn into some nice little factors without fractions. Woohoo! So, nifty little trick. Right now, if you're only comfortable with the first or even the second step, I'm good with that, but it would certainly be nice to try practicing this. And then, finally, to get the roots is when you list out the answers if you solve for when it equaled 0. So that'd be the -1/2 and the 3/5, the first two winners, and then the 1 plus or minus root 17 over 2. And that's how you solve a polynomial equation.